Good morning. It is Thursday, July the 1st. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. And we start the month with Barbados under a storm warning as what could potentially be Tropical Storm Elsa approaches. Right now, the system is a tropical depression packing maximum sustained winds of up to 35 miles per hour, and it could potentially dump 6 to 8 inches of rain on the island when it reaches here early tomorrow morning. A marine advisory is also in effect. Director of the Met Office, Sabu Best, tells the Morning Report the alert level was upgraded from a tropical storm watch to a warning last night at 11 o'clock.
Tropical Depression number 5 was located near latitude 9.5 degrees north, longitude 47.4 degrees west, or about 860 miles, that's 1,385 kilometers east-southeast of Barbados. The depression continues to become better organized during the course of the night and is expected to intensify into a tropical storm later today. To recap for viewers, a tropical storm warning is issued when sustained winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour associated with a tropical storm or hurricane are forecast to affect Barbados within 36 hours. In this case, the very early hours of the morning on Friday, the 2nd of July. In other words, tomorrow morning.
Now, Barbados was initially bracing for a direct hit, but Mr. Best explains that models now forecast the system passing south of the island. However, as a tropical depression intensifies, Barbados could be facing storm force winds.
This line you see between two markers, this is not the forecast track. This is just a distance measuring tool here. But anyway, the system center is there, is tracking towards the west, but we expect it to start track towards the west-northwest. And the center is forecast now as it stands, because yesterday, sometime late yesterday, the center is forecast like literally passed right over Barbados. But now the center is forecast to pass some distance to the south. When I say some distance, probably less than 60 miles or so to the south of Barbados. But I need to say, I just want to stress, I was a little hesitant to say how far south the center would pass, because I don't want persons to run with that as that, oh, the center is passing to the south, that's it. That's just a point. That's just a point. Storms, hurricanes, depressions are not a point. That's just the center of it. And the stronger winds associated with this system is on the northern side of the center. And hence Barbados is on the northern side of where the center will pass. So we're basically in the wind field. The only good side I can say to what's going on right now, if you look at the structure of the system, you can see a lot of the a lot of the cloud cover you're seeing here is on the south side and western side of the system. And on the north and eastern looks a bit, eroded away. And that's happening because there's a fair amount of dry air that's coming in from the northeast and eastern flanks of the system and feeding into the system and eroding away a lot of the cloud. And that's a good thing in that it's going to slow down any kind of development or rapid development, I should say, not development because it is still slowly developing. It's going to prevent any rapid kind of development because of that dry air coming in, just preventing it from intensifying rapidly.
Now, a flash flood warning could be issued later tonight as the now tropical storm Elsa gets closer to Barbados. And the Met boss also give a comparative analysis of the expected strength of the system.
Initially, when we were looking at this yesterday evening, it looked like if you were to compare the intensity of the winds you felt, it was going to be like almost on par. But now what's being forecast right now, that's why I said these things are changing all the time. It changes. That's why we got to keep watching. Now that we're looking at the new advisory package, it looks like it's maybe have winds probably around 60 miles per hour or so as it passes towards the south, as the center, not the whole system, as the center passes towards the south of Barbados. That's stronger winds than what we had in the freak storm.
Okay.
I'll stop. If I may go a little further, if some of us can remember what Thomas was like, it's going to be kind of very close to that. Okay. Thomas was a little stronger. But since the freak event is a little fresh in our minds, for most of us, for those who probably didn't sleep through it, or it's going to be a little bit stronger than what you've experienced that night with the freak storm.
And remember, you can tune in to CBC for regular updates and download the cap.cap app. That will help a lot from your app store on your mobile device to get immediate alerts. Now, owners of fishing vessels are being advised to seek safe harbor for their vessels as soon as possible as Barbados prepares for the impact of Tropical Storm Elsa. Chief Fisheries Officer Joyce Leslie advised persons with Moses, tenders, and light vessels to remove them from the water and to make sure that they are adequately secured on land. She added that where possible, fish pots should also be removed from the water. For owners of fishing vessels over 25 feet in length from the north and west coast, Port St. Charles will open this afternoon to accommodate them. After alerting security at Port St. Charles at 419-1000 to inform their intent to be moored there, boat owners are also advised to have adequate fendering, 6 tires or buoys for their vessels, and adequate strong rope. Of course, we will continue to update you on the development of now Tropical Storm Elsa as it approaches. But coming up after the break, we have COVID-19 updates. Barbadians are waking up this morning to a nation that is once again open for business without curfew. However, there are specific directives in place to guide key sectors and control the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Attorney General Dale Marshall told CBC News that the country has to get back to creating economic growth.
Our directive stipulates that all businesses can open, all businesses can operate, but of course there are conditions, and those conditions sometimes require a private, essentially those conditions will require compliance with the various COVID protocols and the directive from time to time. As we move into what we would consider to be crop over season, though, we recognize, as the Prime Minister would have said, that there are businesses, there are individuals who rely on having crop over effects and so on for their economic activity, and we have taken a decision that we will allow those subject to the patrons being vaccinated and subject to negative PCR tests being produced.
The Attorney General also sought to clarify an area in the directives relating to the operation of party cruises and private charters. He made it clear which ones could and could not move from the dock.
Those vessels, when chartered for private charters, will be allowed to have a maximum capacity of 50%, maximum occupancy of 50% of their capacity. In relation to vessels, however, that are booked to be used for parties, and I think the term that we use is public entertainment, so that they're open to members of the public to buy tickets and so on. I remind that those vessels will not be able to leave their mooring. They must remain berth, they must remain on shore. And in addition to that, those vessels are going to be limited to a maximum of 150 persons.
The Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory identified 2 new COVID-19 cases, both of them females. They are from 730 tests conducted on Tuesday, June the 29th. There are currently 34 people in isolation, and since March last year, a total of 4,081 confirmed cases of COVID-19 have been recorded. 47 people have died from the virus. The number of tests carried out by the Public Health Lab is now 185,776. To date, 95,264 people have received first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine under the National Vaccination Program, while 70,948 people have been given second doses and are now fully vaccinated. Internationally now, the Red Cross has warned that Indonesia is on the edge of catastrophe as the coronavirus infections fueled by the deadlier Delta variant surge across the country and are pushing the healthcare system towards collapse. The country faces a medical emergency that is already overwhelming hospitals and threatening the supply of medical oxygen in the capital Jakarta and other areas.
As hospitals reach capacity, many families have been left with no choice but to take matters into their own hands. This is an oxygen store in South Jakarta, and some relatives have come here because they say their loved ones, despite being critically ill, were unable to receive hospital treatment here in the Indonesian capital. And it is a story that is sadly the reality for many families here in Indonesia, that hospitals are at 100% or in some cases edging close to 100% capacity and have no room. They have to turn away critically ill patients, and many are forced to isolate at home, and it's up to their families who have to take matters into their own hands and try to keep their loved ones alive, whatever the cost. The cost of oxygen here at this store has gone up. Used to be, before the pandemic, around $50 for one cylinder. Now it's $130, which is a huge expense for many of these families.
I want to refill this oxygen tank because my dad has difficulty breathing. It has been 10 days. All the hospitals are full. They rejected us. Even emergency units turned us away.
The Indonesian government says it anticipated that there would be a spike in COVID-19 cases in June and July because of Eid celebrations. Around 4 to 6 million people traveled back to their hometowns for festivities, and as a result of that increased mobility, there was an increase in transmission of this virus. Healthcare workers say, however, that more must be done, that even if the spike was anticipated, the government must do more now to respond to that. They are calling for further restrictions on social mobility to stop this rise in COVID-19 cases.
The Russian President Vladimir Putin has addressed a range of domestic and foreign policy issues in a question and answer session with the public, with his handling of the coronavirus being one of the main topics. The address was postponed last year due to the coronavirus pandemic.
On the phone and now via social media. This is where Vladimir Putin responds to average concerns, albeit pre-screened ones, from the price of vegetables to COVID-19. But with Russia in the grips of another major wave of coronavirus infections, Putin was eager to dispel fears around Russia's Sputnik vaccine. The country was quick to develop the jab, but only 15% of Russians have received a dose. Until now, the Kremlin had refused to say which vaccine Putin had received, worsening public confidence in the Russian jab.
I thought that I needed to be protected as long as possible, so I chose to be vaccinated with the Sputnik vaccine. The military is getting vaccinated with it, and after all, I'm the commander-in-chief.
Putin's left many pandemic decisions to regional officials. Some areas, including Moscow, have decided to make vaccinations mandatory for millions of workers. Officials say people can decline, but workers fear they'll be fired if they do. Putin, meanwhile, revealed he doesn't support mandatory jabs.
Well, let's hear from Pearson now about what's coming up on the Thursday edition of Mornin Barbados. Pearson, over to you.
Shane, thank you. You know, with all the darkness happening around us, we all are still looking for some bright sparks. We believe we found them in our enterprising and very emerging young people in Barbados. And so this morning, we'll introduce you to a young man who is majoring in psychology with sociology, but he has a passion for football. You'll meet a former student of the Allen School, 19 years old, who's just opened her own natural skincare line. And we'll be talking to her, along with one who's into catering, another who's into fashion designing, a young man who is determined to be the greatest dancehall artist of his time. And those are just a few of who we'll introduce to you today on the Thursday edition of Morning Barbados in about 15 minutes. It's back to you, Shane.
And speaking about bright sparks, Pearson, we'll show you how local charities are teaming up to help the homeless and those in need during the pandemic. Charities are teaming up to respond to the growing needs of the homeless and those struggling to cope with the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of them are now pooling their resources, trying to find short, medium, and possible long-term solutions to help some of those affected. Many hands make light work, a phrase made popular by Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley. And that's what we are seeing here in Jubilee Gardens in the city every last Sunday of the month. Many new faces have been turning up for assistance here, both men and women. In light of this, one of the newest Kiwanis clubs, that's the Kiwanis Club of Barbados Benevolence, decided to support this cause, spearheaded by Sharon Bellamy Thompson and her Fishers of Men charity.
Not only are we assisting Sharon in terms of feeding, but Kiwanis across Barbados on a monthly basis, we're giving out hampers and that kind of stuff. So we decided to get on board with Sharon. We were organized in December, and on Christmas bank holiday, we were in Jubilee Gardens working with Sharon, assisting her with her feeding program. And so every month we come down, we provide the liquid refreshments. And not only that, we also provide masks and hand sanitizers to ensure that even though they're homeless, that they still remain safe.
And Ms. Blackman says the Kiwanis Club of Barbados Benevolence wants to take the assistance a step further.
We hope that over time we may be able to assist in a more sustainable way, because we recognize that the effect of COVID has caused more people to be homeless, but we're going to play our part in terms of helping to feed them and to come up with a more sustainable program in the long run.
Meanwhile, there's another story of how teamwork makes the dream work. For Sharia Miller, an accountant clerk at Purity Bakeries, it's all about improving the lives of those most in need.
I think it's so amazing what she's doing, and and it really warms my heart to see her every morning, just dedicated to feeding the less fortunate Shamain and those cooking for hot meal in the mornings. And I really wanted to become involved.
Ms. Bellamy Thompson is thankful that more people are recognizing the needs of the homeless, but she says urgent help is required to help find some form of accommodation for those on the streets.
My dream is to really have a shelter to get some of these people off the road, and I'm seeing a lot of females, and then I'm seeing persons with their children, and you know, it pains my heart to see that I'm home in bed at night, and then all day where these people would be sleeping and stuff like that. So in terms of support for stuff-wise, I'm there, but I'm really desperately in need of a shelter.
So yes, many hands make light work, but it's clear more hands are required to lift the burden the pandemic has placed on the country, and especially on those who are in need and the homeless. Further afield, authorities say more than 200 people have died over 4 days in Canada's most western province, that's British Columbia, as record-breaking temperatures raise serious concerns for vulnerable groups, including the elderly.
Even in summer, Canada isn't used to this kind of heat. People are doing whatever they can to stay cool. Some flock to the beaches, others are stocking up on bottled water. In British Columbia, less than 40% of homes have air conditioning, and demand for new units has skyrocketed. Many in the region have never experienced anything like it.
We do get heat waves from time to time every summer. The summers have been getting hotter, but you know, it's never this bad. We've never experienced anything in the 40s in Vancouver.
Dozens of people have died suddenly in the past few days, deaths that are being blamed on the heat wave. Schools, universities and vaccination centers across the region are closed. The scorching temperatures are being linked to a so-called heat dome, where high-pressure zones trap the heat.
What we're seeing happening with the atmosphere is a very unusual pattern where there's been intense high pressure cut off from the global circulation pattern. High pressure leads to sinking air, and sinking air warms up. When we have this feature that's been cut off from the circulation for a few days, that's the recipe for these dangerously high temperatures.
Regional leaders are drawing a connection between the unprecedented temperatures and the threat of climate change.
In this instance, I think the big lesson coming out of the past number of days is that the climate crisis is not a fiction, it is absolutely real. And if you look, I've had a briefing from the Wildfire Service yesterday and again today. The entire west coast of North America, from Baja to Alaska, is red hot and awaiting what could be another catastrophic fire season just ahead of us as lightning starts to come into the equations.
Authorities in Canada and the US are urging people to stay indoors, drink water, and check in on vulnerable friends and relatives. The heat is expected to continue throughout the week, and more records could be broken in the coming days.
Some good news for actor Bill Cosby. He was released from prison last evening after the U.S. state of Pennsylvania's highest court overturned his sex assault conviction.
Cosby is being freed because, in the view of the Supreme Court, he did not get a fair trial. The due process was not followed. And now let me explain. In 2005, Cosby was initially alleged to have drugged and sexually assaulted a woman at his house. The prosecutor at the time decided not to pursue criminal charges. Instead, he says he made a deal, and so did Cosby's lawyers. They say that a deal was struck so that a civil court case could be pursued, and in return, Cosby would not be criminally prosecuted. And also in return, as part of that civil case, Cosby would sit for several depositions in which he would waive his Fifth Amendment right under the U.S. Constitution to his right to against self-incrimination. So these were very candid depositions under oath in which Cosby did discuss using drugs to drug women and so on. These are very incriminating depositions. Right. But the deal was, according to the prosecutor at the time and the Bill Cosby lawyers, in return for these candid depositions, you will not be criminally charged. However, none of this was put in writing. There's no kind of official official deal, under Pennsylvania law as far as anyone can find. 10 years later, those depositions were unsealed. And the subsequent prosecutors saw these and went, wait a second, Bill Cosby's incriminating himself in these depositions. We should file new charges before the statute of limitations expires. So that's what they did. But the Supreme Court is saying you should not have done that because that deal had been struck beforehand. That deal from the initial prosecutor meant that Bill Cosby admitted to doing all sorts of terrible things. He would not have done that without that deal. You cannot now go back on that deal and say, all right, we are now going to criminally prosecute you. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Interesting case. In sports now, Jason Holder is being rested for today's fourth CG Insurance T20 International against South Africa, while left-arm spinner Akil Hussein was named in the squad for the first time in the series with the Windies trailing 2-1. Holder is out of the squad on planned rest with a view of managing his workload, while Shimron Hetmeyer, who was a late replacement for Chris Gayle in the last game, remains in the squad. Kevin Sinclair makes way for Hussein in keeping with the selection panel's quest to determine our best squad and the best 11. The objective remains to win this game and the series, however. So the full squad reads: Kyron Pollard, the captain; Nicholas Puran, vice-captain; Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Fidel Edwards, Andre Fletcher, Gayle, Hetmeyer, Hussein, Evan Lewis, Obed McCoy, Andre Russell, and Lendl Simmons. This fourth match will be played at the Grenada National Stadium, with the first ball being bowled at 2 p.m. Live coverage will be on CBC Radio 94.7 FM. Time now for a look at the weather. So the fifth named storm of the year, Elsa, has formed in the Atlantic. And it formed in the Atlantic on Friday morning. At 5 a.m., the center of the tropical storm was located near latitude 9.4 north, longitude 48.8 west, or about 770 miles east-southeast of Barbados. So that means that tropical storm warning remains in effect. Tropical storm warnings are also in place for neighboring St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, and Martinique. Guadeloupe has been placed under a storm watch. So Elsa is currently moving to the west at 25 miles per hour. And according to the Met Office, we should expect to see some of the precipitation and winds associated with the storm in the next 24 to 36 hours. On its current track, the center of the tropical storm should pass about 40 miles to the south of Barbados on Friday morning, but we will feel tropical storm force winds. The temperature right now here in Barbados is 26.7 degrees Celsius, and those overcast conditions helping it to feel just as cool as that. Relative humidity stands at 85%. The barometric pressure this morning 1014 millibars, and those winds are coming out of the east at 39 kilometers per hour. We'll get a high tide this morning at 9 minutes to 9. The low tide will be around 3 minutes after 3 in the afternoon. The seas are moderate in open water. Swells are between 2 and 2.5 meters and expected to increase. So today in Barbados, we'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief scattered light showers. But things will be getting dicey into tonight, as it will be partly cloudy at first, becoming cloudy with intermittent scattered light to moderate showers. This is the picture over the Lesser Antilles today. Fair to occasionally cloudy. It will be there with a few brief scattered light showers. And tonight over the Lesser Antilles, it will be fair at first and it will become cloudy with occasional light to moderate scattered showers. And that's it for this edition of the Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. Mornin Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday, the 1st of July, 2021. Welcome to Morning Barbados. I am Pearson Bowen. Good morning to those of you watching us on our YouTube channel, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, and on our social media pages, CBC Barbados and Morning Barbados. Wonderful having you company. It's the day where Tropical Storm Elsa is literally to the east of us, very close to us now. And as we always will let you know, we will be breaking into regular programming where necessary. We encourage you to stay tuned to our radio stations, 98.1 The One, 94.7 The Best 24/7, and Q100.7 FM. As where necessary, we will be updating you as it draws closer. And on all of our social media platforms as well, we will be posting details of what's happening so that you're kept abreast. We encourage you to get your preparations in order early so that there's no late minute scrambling for anything. Get your batteries, download our apps to your mobile devices so that you can follow us as we go as well. So every ounce of encouragement is given to you to stay safe, but most of all, to prepare. And in preparing, we want you to also celebrate with us today, Thursday, our young people who are doing some exceptional things, who are going into places that traditionally we would never have ventured, those of us at this particular age. And so this morning, I want to introduce you to a young man who's majoring in psychology with sociology, but he also has a passion for football. His last name is Springer. His first name is Ronaldo. Ronaldo Springer, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Pearson.
I hope you're well today, Ronaldo. I hope that you're mindful of the changing weather conditions as well, and that you're making sure that you do everything necessary to get yourself ready as well, right?
Yes, please. Try my best to be proactive and make sure to take care of myself along with my family.
All right. I want to encourage our production team to just work with me so I can hear a little bit clearer in my ear, production team. Thanks a lot. Good. So, Ronaldo, you're a former student of the Harrison College. You're studying psychology with sociology. What a combination. Tell me about that, the reason why you chose that as your course of study.
Actually, I completed my degree in 2018. The reason why I would have picked psychology with sociology was just the passion for understanding people, especially like the brain and working with interesting individuals, to being a part of a football team, in all honesty, watching how different personalities interact to be a cohesive unit, being able to know how personality differences and similarities could be advantages and disadvantages. And it was a bit of self-exploration for myself to understand myself better, to be quite honest.
So what have you learned about yourself in this exploration?
I realized that I like to take on new challenges. I like to go outside of my comfort zone a lot. That is seen in my current occupation as an advisor at a prominent insurance company within Barbados, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in my personal opinion. But it was also there to develop me in working with teamwork, obviously my leadership abilities, and even helping with my development of public speaking and actually getting over some social anxiety.
Oh, you're doing very well so far. I must commend you on that. But that tells me that in your research and in your development to this stage, you're paying attention to how young people operate, how they exist, how they behave and react. So when you look at our young people today, what's your view of their general sociology of their behaviors?
In terms of the behaviors of the young people today, I would say is more of a influence-based culture, as for most of us, our primary means of socialization comes sometimes through social media, alternative platforms, more so constant contact with friends, as probably for not saying the older generation, but the older generation would have been more so raised strictly by their parents and have that constant influence there. I think it's just a matter now of making sure that we're putting the positive influences in front of our young people to make sure that there is then creating a culture or behavior system that is more rewarding for what we would like to see.
How much of it, though, is dependent on the individual? Because you can do as much as you can as a society to provide the opportunities for them to be influenced positively. But doesn't it also come down to that individual determining, this is who I want to be and this is what I want to do?
Definitely, without a doubt. And part of it is, for me, for myself personally, when I first started football, I was very shy and withdrawn, I would be quite honest. But through the assistance of Mr. Bavel, he would have definitely, sometimes without my, my comfort, he would have definitely thrust me into the spotlight to speak, to develop my own autonomy, to be able to make my own choices. And that started to foster a lot of resilience, especially as I started to take on new challenges that I did not feel it was necessarily the most prepared for. And in taking all these new challenges and this autonomy, it started for me to create my own sense of identity. And in creating my own sense of identity, then I knew what was right for me and what was not right for me. And that allowed me to distance myself from things that possibly may not have been to my betterment.
You keep coming back to the value of sport and the discipline that sport would have made to you, brought to your life as well. So let's talk a little bit more about that, because it was football. It was a soccer academy with which you were engaged. And fortunately, you have those people around you to be able to influence you in those kinds of positive ways. But there are lots of parents today who are saying, but sports, I want my child to be the academic, not the sports person. What do you say to that person?
Well, in terms of the Barbados Soccer Academy, I always would highlight that Mr. Bavell placed equal emphasis on academics and sports, to the degree that he actually wanted to see our reports at the end of the term or midterm. And if results weren't satisfactory, before every session we did lessons, after every session we did lessons. And if they still were up to par, what would happen is sometimes you may not be able to participate in the game, because you were not performing to the level that he expected. So it's definitely a blend, I will be quite honest. I do see the benefits, especially attending Harrison College of Academia, but it's also having a more all-round individual that can be able to race the different challenges, foster teamwork, foster your ability to be able to not only just impact a team, but to have a positive impact on those around you.
I'm glad you mentioned the Harrison College influence, because I know that parents watching this, but he went to Harrison College, so he's naturally bright. So therefore, it should not be a problem. But there are others who are part of the team who didn't necessarily go to the same school as yourself, or who didn't operate at the same educational level. But you've also, I suppose, seen the change in them as a consequence of the sport of football. Am I right?
Definitely, especially working in the Barbados Soccer Academy, we actually were genuinely like a team in the sense that we'd help each other. So if somebody was necessarily struggling in a subject area and there was somebody that was a lot more advanced or smarter, sometimes you could ask that person for help individually. So I know sometimes there is, especially for males, like a stigma or shame for asking for help. But asking a peer was a little more easier because he was in your age range and you didn't feel as embarrassed to say, hey, I'm kind of struggling. So definitely I would say that it worked hand in hand because we had the influences. From myself, I would say I wasn't the most talented, but I wrote more talented individuals in terms of football. Inspired me to create a better work ethic, to work a lot harder, to go after opportunities and build a lot more confidence within myself.
So what part did you play? What position did you play in football?
I played left back primarily for the Barbados Soccer Academy, but due to being a very versatile player, I played goalkeeper for Harrison College on a few occasions and a myriad of different positions over the years.
Who's your favorite football team?
And my favorite football team internationally is Germany, even though we got dubbed out to the Euros, and I am a very avid Manchester City fan.
All right, your favorite footballer?
And my favorite footballer has to be Kaká or Thomas Muller.
Okay, no problem. Now, I want your view of the Trident's performance in the CONCACAF tournament. Tell me, what do you see, and what's your perception of what's going on?
The performance, to be quite honest, is inspiring because usually on international competitions, we don't really consider Barbados to be much of a powerhouse or much of somebody to issue a strong competition. But members on the team, to me, really demonstrated that we do have a lot of tenacity, challenge, especially in life. Especially for myself, with doing my own personal development, it was always kind of hit with challenges. And there were points in time I felt to quit, but I always used to say to myself, Ronaldo, this is a part of the journey that you signed up for. You want to achieve the goal. You know what the goal is. So you wanted to complete UE in 3 years with the psychology degree. But you didn't know that completing UE in 3 years with a psychology degree required you to do a thesis. So you signed up for that indirectly. So now is not the time to back down, but to actually rise up and actually completely go.
That is such an excellent piece of advice there, Ronaldo. Stick with it. Stick with it. Know the goal. Don't be daunted by the challenges as they present themselves, because that's life. That's just life as we see it. What an inspiration you truly are, Ronaldo Springer. And it's been our pleasure to meet you this morning, really. We are moved by your story, and I want people to be moved to success as well by your story. And since you're an advisor, I'm sure you'll be interacting with other young people, continuing to give that advice on your journey, your life's journey, even at 22 years old. Wow, what a perspective indeed. So this morning, we're immensely proud to recognize you as one of our exceptional young people, Ronaldo Springer, and we could only wish you the very best with everything you're doing going forward. We want to thank you.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much as well, Ronaldo Springer. We're coming back with even more of our young people right after this break. We're 14 minutes to go to the hour of 7 o'clock here. We want to remind you to stay tuned to our radio stations for further weather updates as they come. We will break into regular programming to bring those updates to you. Also continue monitoring our social media pages, because that's where we will also be breaking the news as it happens, and TV8 will be carrying it as well. So our next exceptional young person is just 23 years old, but is already the owner of his own business. His name is Nathan Agard. Nathan, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
How does it feel to be heard, to hear your ears that you're the owner of your own business? How does that sound to you?
Well, to me, it's been a very long time coming, I would say. From the time I was young, it's always been a goal of mine, I would say, to own my own business. So I'm glad I'm finally taking a step forward.
But you're 23 years old. You're still very young. And for those who are wondering, what's this business about? What business are you in?
Well, I'm into the business of graphic design, so I do both 2D and 3D designs. I don't do house plans per se, because people typically tend to think when I say graphic design and 3D design, they go to house plans. So I will do 3D visualizations, I will do logos, flyers, posters, artworks. And I think now is especially important because with COVID, a lot of people actually began starting their own businesses, and a lot of people are going to want, more push on graphic design and stuff. So I've decided that now would be the best time for me to take that leap.
How is it going so far?
Well, so far I only recently very started the venture, so it's not picking up as much as I'd like so far. But I'm hoping that, as I develop the page, my social medias, I'm actually going to work on a website pretty shortly. So I'm hoping that when I do that, I will get a bit more, push, a bit more marketing, things will start to pick up.
Talk to me about the skills that one would need for graphic designing. It's more than just simply being able to stencil information, stencil designs. What's involved in graphic?
You have to have, the skill, and you have to have the imagination. A lot of people typically tend to overlook, the amount of work itself that goes into design. People typically tend to think, I want to do a poster, I want to do a flyer, I can just stick to things in Paint or Photoshop, and it comes together. I think with graphic design, you need to have the heart for it, you need to have the passion and the drive as well.
But you said about Photoshop. I mean, I could take pieces and put them together in my little jigsaw, and I have, hey, that for me is my design. But there's a language to design, if I could use that word, where placement is also going to be critical for the person who will be receiving that design. So let's talk a little bit about those intricacies in getting it right so you have a most impactful graphic design.
Well, when it comes to designs, you have to make sure that it's not only about placement stuff. You have to make sure you have colors, you have to make sure you have orientation, you have to make sure, depending on design, it's symmetrical, it can be asymmetrical. It depends by project, but at the same time, there's no secret formula, I would say, to creating a good graphic design because, graphic design to me is a bit subjective and it varies by person to person. Everyone has their own taste, everyone has their own, likes and dislikes. So you always have to tailor what you do towards a particular client you're working for.
So who or what inspired you to take up this as your chosen profession?
Well, it all started from, I would say, when I was around 10 years old also. My mom actually got me into doing graphics and design. She actually was the one who started me on Photoshop originally. And from there, I ended up taking on art and technical designs at Conver, where I went to school previously. And from there, it's just been a upward cycle. Like, I love design. Design is my passion. So that's where I always want to take my journey in life.
We're looking at some of the work that you would have done at Navarro by Navarro Designs, and just being able to look at have a concept idea and to bring it through in your designs calls for a lot of thinking, research, I suppose. I don't know, what is it where does it start? How does it start for you to come up with a finished product?
For me, it starts with an image and a goal in mind. So when I work on the drawing, I typically tend to decide, before I even start, what I want it to look like. I think about the steps I'm going to take to get there. I think about the colors. I think about the orientation, and I think about what is going to be most impactful. To me, when it comes to graphics, I have to ensure that the colors are are bright and they are, appealing to people and they will grab your attention. When it comes to 3D design, which I would say I'm probably a bit more fluent with, I have to ensure that the product is realistic and it is appealing, like I said, and it gives the clients the image that they're looking for. Because when you do 3D designs, you can either go too far left or you can go too far right. You have to make sure you get it, right there, that it appeals to as much people as possible.
So what does one study to be a graphic designer?
Well, to be a graphic designer, I would say you can take up courses like visual arts. You can take up courses like CAD design, because CAD design isn't a major course taken on in the island of Barbados right now. You can do, I believe, technical drawing at places like HAPI. And like I said, you can take out arts. You can take out arts at any of the schools within the island. So I would say once you take out arts and you take out technical design, that is a very good start.
Right. Now, you're also a double major in computer science. Didn't know that at all. So let's talk a little bit about that. Why did you take up computer science as well?
Well, while I was taking on my studies at Commonwealth, I ended up taking up the course computer science, where you essentially write all the computer programs that we use nowadays. Every computer program, whether it's Zoom, Photoshop. Once I took the course at Commonwealth, I instantly fell in love with that as well. So from there, I decided that I also wanted to take that a bit more seriously and pursue it at the university level. So currently, I'm taking on a double major in computer science as well. And I also believe it is quite good to have the background in computer science, because not only is it good to understand the technology you're working with. I also do lots of work with CNC machines and stuff as well. When you have that kind of background, it makes taking up the knowledge for those kind of machines a lot easier as well.
Now that's good news for a lot of young people who are watching this morning who didn't know that you would have needed that degree of computer science as a background towards all of these other things. When you look at your life's plan, I don't know if you're one of those kinds of people, you're a life planner. Did you see yourself at 23 years old where you are now?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Or I was hoping to have been here by now, yes. Because I think I'm a very organized person. Because from, I would say, about 4 or 5 years ago, I had planned to be where I am right now. I made my plans year by year, and I set goals for myself to achieve year by year in order to get here. Because when I left school at Commerce, I didn't immediately go into the world of work. A lot of people typically tend to think if you don't leave school and you go straight into work, it means that you're failing in life. But for me, that wasn't necessarily the case. After I left Commerce, I immediately went into the world of work, and I took about, say, 1 to 2 years break from school itself. And I always knew that I wanted to take on the computer science at the University of West Indies. So what I did within that period of time was I built a career for myself, and I did my work. I actually did some traveling and stuff before I ended up going to university. And right before I started university, actually, I was able to, purchase my first car, which really helped me, getting to and from university from work. So barring that was what essentially allowed me to get where I am right now by making a plan year by year.
How do you deal with it though? Because there are realities that face you from time to time that will cause you to shift your focus in your plan. So how does Nathan settle down and say, you know what, this thing happened, so therefore I'm going to have to adjust in this kind of way? Do you do that assessment constantly?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because I think I do quite a lot between work and school, and also running my own venture. I have to kind of just try to sit back and take in everything as it comes. So, when one also comes at your life, you can't necessarily just break down and just give up. I am one person who tends to believe when you do get quite upset, you tend to make bad decisions. So when things come out in life, I just take them as they go, and I just observe them and think about what I can do next. Try to make logical decisions.
When you get angry, you can make bad decisions. Brilliant piece of advice there. So what's the next plan for Nathan?
Well, right now, the most recent thing I've gotten into was to do graphic design and also a bit of social media management for the new cricket talk show In Swing. So currently that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, that's where I first met you on Monday when you came into the first program
Yes.
In Swing with your father, Pedro Agard. What's it like working with your father?
Well, working with my father is great. He's, when it comes to the cricket talk show, he's very enthusiastic about cricket. So all of that comes very natural to him. He typically tends to know what he wants to present to people. So that also helps as well, because, sometimes you can work with people, you can work with clients who actually want to have a final product, but they don't know what they want, or they don't know what they want to look like.
I'd love to be the fly on the wall in that argument between Nathan and Pedro to see who do you think wins when that argument starts, because your father is very opinionated.
For sure with that.
For sure indeed. So you're doing some graphic work for your father, you're doing graphic works for others, but you're also the operations manager at a local company. So you have a lot juggling all at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
between that,
go ahead.
I was saying between school and between running my own venture, it's been quite busy. And like I said, when I first left school, I didn't immediately go into that position. When I left school, actually, I ended up working in a metal shop at the same business. And from there, year by year, again, I made plans for how I want to progress through life, how I want to progress through this business. I worked my way up to being able to go to university. So I worked my way up from being a bottle working in a workshop to becoming an operations manager at the same local company. So basically what I would like to say on that is, anyone who's taken on school or anyone who's trying to get to the next level in life but isn't immediately getting there, don't give up, because the journey is only just beginning.
Now that's a great point on which to end. Nathan Agard, thank you so much. The journey has only just begun for you too, and we know there's much more lying ahead for you. So I can't wait to see the next stage of Nathan's development as you continue to build your business, Navarro Design, and you can find him on social media for those of you who are looking for those 3D effects and 2D and a whole set of his graphic work. He will be happy to discuss it with you as well. So Nathan Agard, thank you so much. And you are for us one of our exceptional young people. Best of luck with your life's journey. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
You're very welcome. Nathan Agard is his name, one of our other exceptional young people. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, it's the top of the hour, and it'll be time for the news.
On Friday as well. Watches or warnings for flash flooding may be issued later on this evening. Now, speaking to the director of the Met Office, Sabu Best, earlier this morning, he gave a comparative analysis of the expected strength of Tropical Storm Elsa.
Initially, when we were looking at this yesterday evening, it looked like if you were to compare the intensity of the winds you felt, it was going to be like almost on par. But now what's being forecast right now, that's why I said these things are changing all the time. It changes. That's why we got to keep watching. Now that we're looking at the new advisory package, it looks like it's maybe having probably around 60 miles per hour or so as it passes towards the south. As the center, not the whole system, as the center passes towards the south of Barbados. That's stronger winds than what we had in the freak storm.
Okay.
Full stop. If I may go a little further, if some of us can remember what Thomas was like, it's going to be kind of very close to that. Okay. Thomas was a little stronger. But since the freak event is a little fresh in our minds, for most of us, for those who probably didn't sleep through it or who was in the southern section, I think the southern section tip, so the other wasn't that bad. It's going to be a little bit stronger than what you've experienced that night with freak storm.
Now, tropical storm warnings are also in place for neighboring St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia and Martinique. Guadeloupe has been placed under a tropical storm watch. Meanwhile, owners of fishing vessels are advised to seek safe harbor as soon as possible as Barbados prepares for the impact of tropical storm Elsa. The Chief Fisheries Officer Joyce Leslie advised persons with Moses, tenders and light vessels to remove them from the water and to make sure that they are adequately secured on land. She added that where possible, fish pots should also be removed from the water. For owners of fishing vessels over 25 feet in length from the north and west coast, Port St. Charles will be open this afternoon to accommodate them. You can alert the security there by calling 419-1000 to inform of your intent to be moored at that location. Boat owners are also advised to have adequate fendering, 6 tires or buoys for their vessels, and adequate strong rope as well. The Barbadians are waking up this morning to a nation that is once again open for business without curfew. However, there are specific directives in place still to guide key sectors and to control the spread of COVID-19. Attorney General Dale Marshall told CBC News that the country has to get back to creating economic growth.
Our directive stipulates that all businesses can open, all businesses can operate, but of course there are conditions, and those conditions sometimes require a essentially those conditions will require compliance with with the various COVID protocols and the directive from time to time. As we move into what we would consider to be crop over season, though, we recognize, as the Prime Minister would have said, that there are businesses, there are individuals who rely on having crop over fets and so on for their economic activity, and we have taken a decision that we will allow those subject to the patrons being vaccinated and subject to negative PCR tests being produced.
The Attorney General also sought to clarify an area in the directives relating to the operation of private cruises and private charters. He made it clear which ones could and could not move from the dock.
Those vessels, when chartered for private charters, will be allowed to have a maximum capacity of 50%, maximum occupancy of 50% of their capacity. In relation to vessels, however, that are booked to be used for parties, and I think the term that we use is public entertainment, so that they're open to members of the public to buy tickets and so on. I remind that those vessels will not be able to leave their mooring. They must remain berthed, they must remain on shore, and in addition to that, those vessels are going to be limited to a maximum of 150 persons.
And finally, looking at those COVID-19 numbers, the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory identified 2 new COVID-19 cases, both females. They are from 730 tests conducted by the lab on Tuesday, June 29th. There are also currently 34 people in isolation. Since March last year, a total of 4,081 confirmed cases of COVID-19 have been recorded, and 47 people have succumbed to the viral illness. The number of tests carried out by the Public Health Lab stands at 185,776. To date, 95,264 people have received first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine under the National Vaccination Program, while 70,948 people have been given second doses and are fully vaccinated. That's your 7 a.m. headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. Back to you, Pearson.
Shane, thank you. It's now 7 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're taking a break here, and when we come back, the crumbs question of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, it's now 10 minutes after 7 o'clock. Time for today's Crumbs question of the day. A time for you to win. Phones ringing or 228-5563, 228-5562 or 228-5563 to answer today's Crumbs question of the day. And it's a toughie. I'm telling you now, it's going to be a tough one. So here comes today's Crumbs question of the day. The question for you to answer for me is, which town in Barbados was previously a swamp? Full stop right away. Which town in Barbados was previously a swamp? Do you know? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Correctly answered, you're winning today with Crumbs Bakery. Which town in Barbados was previously a swamp? Good morning to you. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, good morning. What parish are you watching us from?
St. Andrew.
St. Andrew has called. What's the weather like where you are at the moment?
It's sunny.
What do you mean by that?
Pardon?
What do you mean by it's funny? What does that mean?
Sunny is bright.
Oh, sunny.
Yes.
Oh, I apologize for that. Okay, ma'am, what's your answer for me?
Is it whole town?
Y'all know me. Don't ask me questions. What's your answer?
Whole town.
Your answer is whole town?
Yeah.
Why did you choose whole town?
Because down there was like obviously water and
A little wet.
yeah.
Mr. Andrew, guess what?
I'm a minute?
You're wrong. You're wrong. Nope.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Okay.
But thank you for trying, okay? Alrighty, she's good fun. St. Andrew says it's a little bit sunny there where she is now. So question, folks, come call 228-5562 or 63. Which town in Barbados was previously a swamp? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, what parish are you watching us from?
St. James.
St. James. All right, so what's your answer?
Is Spikestown?
What's your answer?
Spikestown.
Wrong.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Good girl. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Which town in Barbados was previously a swamp? Come on, y'all know this. I told it was going to be a toughie, so expect it. 228-5562 or 63. So come on. Which town in Barbados was previously a swamp? You get a chance to win with Crumbs Bakery today. You will discover when you go to your Crumbs Bakery today that what you purchase will be absolutely delicious right down to the very last crumb. You want to eat the last crumb and perhaps fight over that. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, what parish are you watching us from?
I'm calling from St. Andrew.
St. Andrew too. So outside sunny by you too?
Yeah.
Did you recognize the voice of the lady who first called?
Pardon me?
Do you recognize the voice of the lady who called previously from St. Andrew?
No.
Oh, so you all don't know one another. All right. So what's your answer?
Bridgetown.
What's your answer?
Bridgetown.
Again? You sure you want to stick with that? What's your answer?
Bridgetown again.
Why not? Bridgetown again? You real posy. Why not Swampy Town?
Bridgetown.
Madam, you're absolutely right. Yes. Well done. Where did you find the answer?
Pardon me?
Where did you find that answer?
My husband.
and how did he know?
Hold on, Pierce, how you know?
Tell him come to the phone. Come
he
to the phone.
He knows his history.
He knows. Tell him come to the phone just a moment.
Hold on.
Let me hear Mr. St. Andrew here now.
Yes, sir. Brother.
Sir, let me hear how you figured out that Bridgetown was formerly a swampy town. Talk to me.
Where it comes to the Barbados history, reading is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So once it comes to Barbados and its history, that's my thing.
For real? Tell me about
That's
oysters. Right. Tell me about oysters.
Oysters.
Mm-hmm.
Oysters down.
Reading is my thing. I hear you when it comes to Barbados history.
I know how it was laid out before the fish market was there and so on.
So, what was there before the fish market?
Okay, we had the old hospital was functioning where the bus stand is now.
Yes, yes.
Then there you had it was a hotel or a building there, and just before you get down to the church, a small church. That was there for a long time, for years.
Okay. No, you see, you're teaching me.
In order, that's where you had one of those situations where, in order, the building that was there reached right down to the water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one where you had cases where then that hotels used to fly right down to the water, and you couldn't pass there.
Oh, okay.
In order
well, that's
to
a
get
lot.
past there, you actually had to swim out into the water.
To go around. Well, that's a lot to learn this morning, sir. All right, don't give me all one time. Thanks a lot. All right, but put your wife back on the phone because she's going to talk to our producer now. She's the winner of today's Crumbs question of the day. Congratulations to the lady from St. Andrew who watched and correctly said that Bridgetown was previously a swamp. Absolutely right. You guys are good fun. We're going to take a break right here and we're coming right back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 17 minutes after 7 o'clock now on this Thursday morning. We're meeting exceptional young people. Our next is Shamar Wiggins, who's already on his journey to success. Shamar, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Morning, Barbados.
Good man. How are you doing this morning, Shamar?
I'm feeling a bit tired, but I'm okay. How are you?
What do you mean? What do you mean feeling a bit tired? That means that you had a late evening?
You can say that, yeah.
Or you're not an early riser, perhaps. All right, that's okay. You're on your journey to success, and I'm deliberately using the name of your latest song, Journey to Success, to talk a little bit about who you are, because you're determined, I'm told, to be one of those great dancehall reggae artists. Why?
Because it's mainly a part of my culture, and I grew up listening to dancehall music, so it's kind of a part of me. So
And that part of you is because you were born in Jamaica. You were born in Jamaica.
Yes.
And you came to Barbados when you were about how old?
13 years old. I became 13.
And so your connection to Barbados is via one of your parents?
Yes, I live with my mom.
So mommy is Barbadian, and you lived with your mother here in Barbados. And so ever since then, you are for us one of our exceptional young people. So dancehall, because you've had that influence from Jamaica, you thought, I will continue to pull on that part of your nationality as a Jamaican too. And who would you say are some of those outstanding dancehall artists that you would like to surpass?
Honestly, I would like to surpass a lot like Vibes Cartel for sure, you know. So I mainly look at someday, you know, surpass them or their level.
What do you say about people who have a particular perception of reggae and dancehall music, a perception that is not necessarily positive? What do you say?
Repeat that question, please.
The people who have a perception of reggae or dancehall music, that a perception that is not positive, what do you say to those people?
What do I say to those people? I don't really know, but some people don't really know the culture like I do. They don't really listen to the music, so they might listen to the negative part of the dancehall and try to, criticize it in them own way and try to put it in them own way, But there's actually a lot of positivity in the dancehall industry. You understand? Not a negative part like this. And just because Jamaica is known for, violence and all of those things, because the dancehall music is positive.
So
and it's much better
yes,
when all of the artists unite and right.
So you've chosen the positive route because you've released your song called Journey to Success. Tell us about that song.
That song came about like last year. I was working and when you get mature, you don't want to depend on nobody for anything, So like last year, that came to mind. Last year was when I started the journey. You understand? So yeah, basically, it just came to mind, and based off a experience, the song came about.
And that experience has caused you to pen the song Journey to Success. But your journey to success would have started when you were much younger, because you were exposed to music and there were some things that you used to do that you got lashes for. So tell us about that. How did people perceive you as a boy growing up and who you are today? Compare the two.
Growing up, I was a rude boy. I can't lie. In school, teacher used to always put me out of the class for, disrupting the class and singing a lot and all of those things. But now, I can say that I'm more humble and I'm more focused on my journey to success.
So the song is called Journey to Success. Where can people hear this song from you?
It's on all digital platforms. You can stream it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, on all digital platforms. You can go and check it out.
Right. Your formal name is Shamar Wiggin, but your stage name is Alvinus. Alvinus. So talk to me about that construction. Why this name for yourself?
Now, Venus is a planet that orbits the sun, and it's also the hottest planet. So what I'm implying is that I bring the heat and my lyrics are fire. Yeah, so that's basically it. And I just add the al to make it, give it a little unique touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of marketing yourself, well, what are you doing where that's concerned, so that everybody gets to know Alvinus, the man who sings Journey to Success?
Just on my background.
Watch out, me depend on people now. I'm rather clean toilet. Anyway, me ever find it. And if me get up and me ever strike.
Okay, we're hearing in the background as well some of the music, that piece of music, Journey to Success, so people get a sense of it. And it's a good song because part of your focus is to have a message for the young people as well. So clearly tell me this morning, what would you think that message to young people would be? What would that be?
Just stay positive and just stay on the journey to success no matter how hard it gets, because in life you're going to come across some obstacles that you just have to go jump over, and you learn from your pain. So, not depending on anybody for anything. Understand? Because people can take advantage of you. So, on the journey to success, work hard and
yeah, work hard for real. You're 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
You're still quite young. So what, apart from wanting to be the greatest dancehall artist of all time, what else do you want, Shamar, for yourself?
For myself, honestly, I don't want a lot. I'm not all about money and all of these things because we're only a limited amount of time. So, you know, no one that the other side is just me, you know?
Yes, yes. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's the Journey to Success by Alvinus, and you'll find on Joe Jam's Entertainment. And we want to encourage you, Shamar, Mr. Alvinus Wigan, to continue doing what you're doing and doing it very well. We commend you this morning, and we only want to wish you the very best as one of our exceptional young people. Thank you for joining us this morning.
All right, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Morning Barbados continues right after this.
I see your progress, yeah, so blessed. I'm so blessed. Yeah. And now I'm no stress. Let's do your progress, oh yes, I'm so blessed.
It is to remind you to stay tuned to our radio stations here on TV8 and our social media pages as well as we continue to track Tropical Storm Elsa just off the southeast of Barbados, predicted to pass 40 miles to the south of Barbados sometime into Friday morning. But for sure, we'll be keeping you updated. So as things happen, we will bring that to you. But let's meet another of our young people this morning now. Her name is Kadija Best, and Kadija owns her own business. Kadija, good morning to you.
Good morning, person. Good morning, Barbados.
Kadija, it's so good to see you. Did we startle you just now?
Not really.
Okay, good. So what's the name of your business, Kadija Best?
The name of the business is Zardija's Island Chefs and Catering.
Say all of that again real slow.
Zardija's Island Chefs and Caterers.
What a name, Zardija. What does that mean, Zardija?
That name was chosen by my mother.
Mm-hmm.
The name is kind of a merge of my youngest sibling and myself. Her name is Zaria and I'm Kadija. So my mother arrived at Zardija because she wanted something that was memorable.
Yes.
But not in the sense of being easy.
That's true, but nevertheless, it binds yourself together, you and your sister together. And so you've started your own catering business. What got you started there?
Well, my mother's a chef by profession, and she has been for many, many years. Far back. I would have started it a little while back, but due to the pandemic and, our being displaced from the tourism industry, we decided to not let the pandemic get the best of us and, use our skills to share our talents with others.
I'd love to hear that discussion. Who started the discussion to say, okay, Mommy, you're a chef. I can help in this kind of way and together we can do this. Who started that?
My mother.
So she
my
came
mother,
to you? Uh-huh.
Yeah, and she was just like, you know, she's talented, and she knows that she's talented, and she's not able to cook in a hotel right now. So it kind of made sense to use your talent to benefit for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been in food and beverage. I was a food and beverage supervisor before. And so, you know, the business management aspect and the talent came together to form the business.
I love it. And what role does your sister Zara play?
Oh, my sister, she's a tester. She eats everything.
Listen, we have some testers in here as well here. We can help you all consume a lot of things.
That is fine.
So here it is. The business is up and running, and so far so good?
So far so good. And it's been growing since the start of 2021.
You know, we could look at a pandemic in so many different ways. It could be seen for a lot of people as something very depressing, and they want to stop and go back to what's normal. Yeah. But you saw it as an opportunity. So did you know this about yourself, to be able to look at adversity and see it as an opportunity? Did you know that about yourself before now?
Kind of, but I mostly, you know, relied on my mother for that mm-hmm. support. She's always been the backbone. And whenever you try to, you know, whenever you face adversity, rather than, you know, break down, she's one to, you know, look for the opportunities in places where it seems like there's none. So there's always a light in darkness for my mother.
Wow, that must be so important to you, and so heartwarming to know that there is someone who is your rock, to whom you can turn when things feel shaky.
Definitely.
And I love the relationship between yourselves. That's brilliant. So how does it work? Do we call you and we say, you know what, say the first name again, the first word, something catering?
Zardija.
Thank you. Do we say, hi, Zardija, we love you to cater for a function? How does it work?
Well, you contact myself and you let me know when your function will be, the amount of persons you have there, and your dietary requirements. That's very important, you know, when you're booking a function. The food is extremely important.
Yes.
So you let us know what you're looking for, and we will give you some options, some menus to choose from. We will build about 3 or 4 options for you to choose from, and then we will go from there.
That's great.
We will also.
Wow. I mean, after all, you were in food and beverage before, so you understand what it takes to bring an event together as a professional. Where did you study that profession?
Well, I started at the Pomeroy, the Barbados Community College Hospitality Institute.
Yes.
And I went on to the University of the West Indies, where I studied hospitality and tourism management.
Mm-hmm.
And then later in 2018, I went back to BIMAT and I studied event management. So it all ties in.
You clearly had a goal. You knew what you wanted to do and to become. And what school did you go to before starting all of that?
I went to the Springer Memorial Secondary School.
All right, the girls on the beacons on the hill right there. So you knew on leaving, did you know on leaving Springer Memorial that this is your life's journey to be engaged in the hospitality industry and eventually then into catering? Did you know that then?
Well, service was always an area of interest to me, because I guess from watching my mom coming up, and also watching my stepdad, because he was also at the airport. So it was all like, I was in the middle of this tourism mix up. So for me, it was something I always wanted to do. Catering, so much, no. I never thought I would have been in catering. I never thought I would have been an entrepreneur.
Yes.
But with the help of my mom and our background, here I am today.
Here you are indeed today. Now, there are lots of young girls from the Springer Memorial School who are probably watching us now. And then do you ever get a chance to go back to the school to mentor, to share, to in any other way impact those young ladies?
No, I don't, but that is something that I would definitely love to do.
I hope the principal is listening, because I'm sure that they would want to invite you to come down to impact those young ladies. But what advice would you want to give to any young girl today in school about the future?
First off, I would tell them, you know, if you have an area of interest, don't bury it. For your avenues, because you don't know where it will take you. Stay focused. This is the easiest thing people tell you, stay focused. But as long as you apply yourself, you can do it. If you are going to take the path of entrepreneurship, understand that it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it.
It's definitely going to be worth it. But it's not easy. So what are some of the things that you need to be, because you're now an entrepreneur. You said you never dreamt that you would eventually one day be the entrepreneur, the lady who operates her own business, but here you are. So what are some of the lessons that you've learned that you said, you know what, it wasn't easy, but I've done it?
For me, it is the ability to control the outcome of your work. Being able to control what you do and being able to have that kind of like personal relationship with your customers, that is rewarding to me.
Is it difficult finding those customers though?
No, it is not. The customers find us. I find that your work, once you work well, and with food and Barbadians, once your food is good, your referrals and your word of mouth works for you.
You're so right on that score. So give me a sense of what could be available on some menus that you have that you share with your clients when they come for consultation.
Something as simple as like a grill ribs. So you can have, it depends if you're having a cocktail.
Right.
So a cocktail menu will be something like, you know, samosas with like a mayo sauce. You can also have different types of salads. You can have fish cakes that we make as well, are homemade. Let me see what kind of salad. You can have a Greek salad. That's a hit with our customers for the cocktails. Greek salads,
right.
And you can have yeah.
So it depends on the occasion. So we have the consultation, and then you share some options, some menu options, and we determine from there going forward. But that's the food side of it. But are you also into in your catering decor and the laying on of staff and that kind of thing?
Decor, we don't do decor. We would hire a person to do decor for us. However, we do bring staff. We are able to hire staff.
Kadija, there's so much going on. So now you're the full-fledged businesswoman, and you've got to start taking the business very seriously. Just out of curiosity, how old are you roughly?
I am 27 years old.
I beg your pardon? You're only 27 years old and you're managing all of this already and doing it so well. Zardija's Caterers. So the business side of it, because it's all, and look at what they've done to me so early in the morning. Zardija's Caterers. Look at it on the screen, everybody. This is the Instagram page for Zardija's. And we get a taste, I mean a literal taste, because the taste is popping off the pictures right there of all that you offer.
Yeah.
And these are all of Mommy's cookings, right?
Mommy's, yeah.
So none of
you girls... In addition to that, you can also have private dinners as well.
Okay. So neither yourself nor... So neither you nor Zara can cook?
I can cook. I can definitely cook. And Zara, not so much.
Not so much. I hope she's hearing you. You deal with her thereafter. So all of these are some of the options that we can get from you. Do you only cater to large events, or do you cater to the individual who says, you know, I'm hungry right now, I'm looking for a lunch option, and I want to walk up to Zardija's Caterers and get something?
We do cater for the individual who is, you know, looking for a quick bite, and that's what we call them, quick bites.
Right.
And they are available on Fridays and Saturdays, from 12 until like 9:30 in the night. You can have like quick fast food choices like the fries and the wings and some things that Bajans like to eat.
You got that right. So is it a phone call away, or do we come somewhere and get it? How do we do? How does that work on Fridays and Saturdays?
Yeah, it is a phone call away. You can call us, or you can visit our Instagram page and
send a message.
Send the order. Yeah.
Do you do deliveries?
Yes, we do.
Sweet. And obviously there's a delivery charge depending on location, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a fee depending on where you are. But we're in St. Philip, so St. Philip.
Don't start me up. You're in St. Philip, so therefore you have the better. They would naturally, those who live in St. Philip would get the cheaper rate. So for a guy living in St. Lucie, he would have to pay just a little bit more, but he would enjoy the great taste of Zardija's Caterers for real. Just a little bit more.
Definitely.
So how would you describe the business thus far? As would you say it's a success, it's a growing business? How would you describe it so far?
To me, it is a growing business. It is definitely growing.
So what do you think you need to do to sustain it? Because, you know, sustainability is going to be critical for your longevity. So what do you think is new that you need to implement to sustain it?
For us, we need to expand our offering, definitely, and add more options to the menu and stuff like that. So that's where our customers come in. We listen to their feedback and we edit the menu. Because when we started out, the menu or our offerings weren't even half as much as we offer right now.
Wow.
We listened to the customers and we added to the menu. We tweaked stuff. You know, going forward, we're hoping to do more weddings and more corporate functions once everybody returns to the workplace and stuff like that.
And of course, these are discussions you're having with Mommy, Stepdaddy, and Zara.
Yeah, definitely.
We can't leave Zara out of all of this at all. Zardija's Caterers indeed. It sounds like a really good business that you're in. You seem very settled, very focused as well. And I really want to commend you for that, because it's not every day that you find that person who finds themselves now as an entrepreneur staying so focused. And it seems as though this is all the way from school, the Springer Memorial School, where you got that kind of rooting and grounding in what you do. Who would you say are some of those teachers who influenced you significantly to be the Kadija that you are today?
Definitely, I would have to say my farm teacher, Miss Atwell. I had her for about 6 years. Her and Miss Lana Holder. That was my food and nutrition teacher.
And so they impacted you significantly. What were some of the lessons they taught you?
Most of all, to believe in yourself and, you know, to always aim for the best.
So what do you say to those Springer girls watching this morning now? Let me hear you. Your parting message to the Springer ladies today.
And you set a path, follow your path, stay focused, and you can do it.
Lovely. Kadija Best, no matter where you come from, as long as you have a goal, stay focused on your path and you can do it. That's my message to you as well, Kadija Best. Thank you so much. Zardija Caterers, I can see that success is right there for you to touch, girl. And I'm so excited about it for you. I want to encourage people to check you out on Instagram, Zardija's Caterers, and they will cater for your event, small or large. They'll be happy to consult with you, share with you all of the options available. And again, success is yours. So you are for us this morning, DJ Best, one of our exceptional youth. It's been our pleasure to share you with the whole of Barbados. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Boy, isn't she interesting? Isn't she so fun? Success is hers for real. It's 16 minutes to the hour. We're taking a break. When we come back, yet another of our exceptional young people. It's 13 minutes now to 8 o'clock. If you've just joined us, just so you know, Barbados is under a tropical storm warning. Tropical storm Elsa is just to the southeast of the island. That means possible impact within the next 12 to 24 hours. Based on what we've heard, the center of that tropical storm should pass to the south of Barbados, about 40 miles to the south of Barbados, but the possibility of strong winds is still very real. You're encouraged to prepare. But most of all, we encourage you to stay tuned to our radio stations, 98.1 The One, 94.7 The Best 24/7, and Q100.7 FM. All of our social media pages will be updating you, CBC News Barbados and CBC Barbados, and also right here on TV8 as it occurs, we'll be breaking into regular programming to keep you informed. But let's continue now in engaging with our emerging and excellent young people as we meet now Shamain Drakes. Shamain owns her own company as well. Shamain, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
How are you doing on this Thursday morning? I'm going to tell us a storm is up there coming our way. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Good, you're staying positive. I love that. You own now Sonara's Natural Skincare. Boy,
Yes,
did you
please.
see yourself in 2021 doing all that you're doing?
At the end of 2020, yes.
Mhm.
That's when I became more serious about starting a skincare line. So yeah, the end of 2020.
So what happened at the end of 2020 to make you so serious about starting your own skincare line?
Well, I always wanted to start a skincare line, but then I became like more serious about starting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's what made me start it.
You're a former student of the Anning School. Were you, while at the Anning School, also dabbling in skincare products?
No, please.
Oh,
Well,
so
personally, yes, but
not your own.
like from time to time, yeah.
Yeah. So here it is now. You're doing your own natural skincare line and beauty skincare company. And so that's a lot of science. So how did you come up with a concept to put this and that together to make a skincare product? Who introduced you to that?
Well, it was through the internet and like watching videos, and to formulate a good product, you have to read up about all the ingredients, and you have to see what product works well with the other and what doesn't work, and you have to formulate stuff that's good for all skincare. I mean, all skin types, even like dry skin, oily skin, a combination of all skin or all skin types. So the internet is what helped me to formulate the products that I have now.
So it was a lot of research
Yes, please.
and then a lot of trial and error as well. So who was it that tested these products for you?
My family.
Uh-huh. And what did they say to you after the first test?
Well, after the first test, they liked it. They honestly did.
Mm-hmm.
And like during when I like did more, I just added like more stuff because I would just like put like a little bit of ingredients at 1st, and then I would like continue to like add more so that it will be like a better product.
Mm-hmm. Do you
And
think
it
they
will work
gave you
better.
do you think they gave you the honest feedback that you needed to hear?
I think so.
And so here you are now. You've developed. So what is it that you are in your skincare line? What is it that you've developed?
Pardon?
In your skincare line, what is it? What is the range of products that you've developed?
Oh, right now I have body scrubs and lip scrubs, and I am now adding body butters and facial scrubs to the list.
What from your research have you found to be the value of a body scrub?
To exfoliate the skin properly, to leave the skin hydrated and moist, and silky.
Right. And how often should one do that? Because it's scientific. So that you don't strip your skin dry, how often should one be doing exfoliation?
Only 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh, okay. So that's the body scrub that we can actually, and that's all over the body from head to toe?
No. There is certain products that you can use for there are certain ingredients that you can use for your body, but you can't use for your face because it will clog your pores in the face and leave acne.
So you know, a lot of us, we use our bath soap to wash our faces. Guilty as charged. And you're saying to us today that we need to be mindful of the applications we use on our body versus the applications we use on our face.
Yes, please.
All right, and a scrub would help with the exfoliation from time to time. It helps to rejuvenate the skin and to bring moisture back to the surface as well. So, but you also don't, what's a sugar scrub?
A sugar scrub is a combination of great oils, any oils that you want to use that will be great for your skin, sugar, and if you want to take it further, you could use other ingredients like, I try not to sell all my ingredients, but
yes, understood. But it involves sugar. And it helps. It also helps with the scrubbing, the exfoliation that you're talking about.
Yes,
so you've only just relatively got up and running. So and you've come up with the name Sonora Natural Skincare. Why that name? Sonora. Why that name?
At first I had a wear business, but I wasn't really fond of it, and it named Sonora. And then when I was starting the Sonora, I just switched the U to O, and then I went and looked up the word, and then I found that that Sonora can mean an imposing or impressive sound or voice.
So in terms of packaging and design and all of those kinds of things, who's been working with you on that?
I make my own packaging.
You're doing a lot. How old are you?
By myself, 19.
You're 19 years old. And you're doing all of this on your own. Are you getting support from the family on this?
Yes, please. My mother has been a big help.
And so for anyone watching today who wants to get a sense of what it is that you do have in your skincare line, your natural skincare line, where can we go see your product so we can get a sense of what it is?
You can visit my IG page, my Instagram page at sonora.bds.
That's SONORA
BDS.
Right, on Instagram, and we get to see clearly what it is that you offer there as well. And would your skincare range also be for men?
Yes, please.
Price point, let's talk price point now. How pricey or not are your products?
My anti-late scrubs are 12.
Okay, so and you take orders via Instagram, and do you also take orders by phone?
Yes, please.
All right, what's the phone number people can call?
261-7287.
261-7287. And her name is Shamain Drakes. The business is Sonora Natural Skincare. And you've only just relatively recently started. You can find her on Instagram. She has something for most skin types. And of course, if I have a particular picky skin type, can I call you and ask you to see what we can work out together?
Yes, please.
All right. 261-7287. 261-7287. Miss Shamain Drakes, I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We want to encourage everyone to check you out and to enjoy your products and to feed back to you, because you love to know as you develop, as you go as well. At just that young, tender age, congratulations. You're for us one of our exceptional young people. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Shamain Drakes is her name, Sonora Natural Skincare. We're 3 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. As you do know, Tropical Storm Elsa has been to the southeast of Barbados, and so Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abram has delivered a message. Let's listen to what he has to say now.
Good morning, Barbados. Overnight, Tropical Depression number 5 strengthened to become Tropical Storm Elsa. At 5 a.m., The center of the tropical storm was located near latitude 9.4 degrees north and longitude 48.8 degrees west, or about 770 miles east-southeast of Barbados. Maximum sustained winds have increased to near 40 miles per hour, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 105 miles from the center. Elsa is currently moving towards the west at 25 miles per hour. An even faster motion towards the northwest is expected over the next 24 to 36 hours. On its current forecast track, the center of tropical storm Elsa should pass about 40 miles to the south of Barbados on Friday morning. Likely impacts would include the tumbling and rolling of unsecured objects, possible injury and danger to life from flying debris. You can expect some delays to transport routes and travel services leading up to the event. Multiple interruptions to power, utilities, and services are expected if the country is impacted. We are projecting rainfall accumulations of between 6 to 8 inches, and watches or warnings for flash flooding may be issued from this evening. Barbados remains under a storm warning. Small craft are advised to seek safe harbor. Please take the time today to clean up around your property, secure loose objects which may become missiles, clean your drains and your gutters to manage the runoff of water. I am asking Barbadians to monitor the official news channels and the media channels of government and our official media partners to keep updated and keep informed. We will update you at regular intervals throughout the day as the development of the tropical system Elsa warrants, and we will advise you as to the implications for Barbados. Please stay safe, Barbados, and listen out for further bulletins.
A message there from Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abrams. We encourage you to stay with us at the CBC, all of our radio stations, all of our social media pages, and TV8. We will break in where necessary to keep you informed and to bring you the very latest as it unfolds. We encourage you today to be very safe and prepare. Barbados, until tomorrow, good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.